All right, today we're going to pull back the curtain on something powerful, something that's often totally invisible. We're talking about the architecture of neurological gravity. Think of it like this subtle, undeniable pull that, well, it lines up our decisions for us, often without us even realizing it. And we're going to break down exactly how it works by looking at one specific, very potent strategy: influence stacking. Let's kick things off with this quote, because honestly, it just nails the whole concept. This isn't about old school persuasion. Persuasion is like a direct push. You can feel it, you can push back. This is something else entirely. It's about changing the whole environment around you, the context, the social dynamics, even the clock on the wall, so completely that your own sense of balance, your own instincts, just force you in the direction they want you to go. It's like an invisible web, a gravitational pull that's working on you before your brain even has a chance to catch up.
And this is where it gets really clever and why so many smart people get caught. Influence stacking is designed to completely bypass your logical brain. It doesn't care about your spreadsheets or your data. It operates on a much deeper level, targeting your ability to even make a free choice in the first place. See, it's not trying to win the argument. It's building a situation where disagreeing just feels wrong, metabolically, socially, and emotionally impossible.
So here's our working definition, and I want you to pay attention to a few key words here: multi-layer, weaponizing exhaustion, and agency. This isn't just one single trick. It's a whole series of coordinated pressures, layered one on top of the other. And each layer is specifically designed to drain your very finite mental and emotional gas tank, making it just too exhausting to fight back. Your own fatigue literally becomes a weapon they use against your will to choose.
Okay, so what's so fascinating here is that this is basically a hack on how our brains work. I mean, think about it. Your brain is a pattern-matching machine, right? So if you get hit with one pressure point, say a tight deadline, your brain flags it as a warning. It's a problem to solve. But what happens when you stack that deadline with social pressure and you put it in a carefully controlled room? Suddenly, your brain doesn't see three different tactics anymore. It sees one big, overwhelming reality. It's not a problem to be solved. It's the new state of the world. And that's when it flips from problem-solving mode straight into survival mode. So how does this actually look in the real world? Let's talk about the patterns you can actually see. We're going to look at the symptoms of this kind of influence, and we're going to focus on a profile we'll call the aligned victim. This is that person who is weirdly, enthusiastically agreeing to their own downfall. You've seen this happen. We all have. You've got a brilliant, data-driven expert, a senior engineer, a top lawyer, a surgeon, and out of nowhere, they just fold. They concede on a point they know is dead wrong. They agree to an insane timeline or a terrible strategy. And to everyone on the outside, it just looks bizarre. Well, that sudden erosion is the classic sign that an influence stack is in play. It's that precise moment when the deep need for alignment completely bulldozes the need for truth. And this is a perfect, simple example of the stack in a corporate setting. Layer 1, control the environment. The quiet room, the neutral ground, that creates a sense of comfort and it lowers your guard. Layer 2, social pressure. Just mentioning the CEO triggers our brain's little status radar, and we instinctively want to align with the leader. And then layer 3, urgency. That 5 p.m. deadline just slams the door on any chance for real, deep analytical thinking. Each layer on its own is pretty simple, right? But you stack them together, and you've got a really potent trap. And this is what's happening on the inside. We call it agency atrophy. The very things that make someone a great employee. You know, being collaborative, agreeable, wanting to be a team player, those things are turned into weapons and used against them. That biological need we all have for social harmony starts to feel way more important, way more real than the need to be right or to protect our own interests. This is the systemic failure. This is where your agency just breaks. Let's be crystal clear about what's at stake here. This is not about losing one negotiation. This isn't about agreeing to one bad idea. No, this is about a fundamental transfer of power. The moment you give in to a stacked environment, you are handing over your strategic control. You're not driving your own career anymore. You're just a passenger who thinks they're a co-pilot in a car being driven by someone else. Okay, so now that we've seen the effects, let's shift gears and really dig into the mechanics. How is this saturation loop actually built? What's the hidden architecture here that allows for this capture of our agency? Because this is a very deliberate 3-stage process. You can really break this whole process down into 3 engineered stages that create a capture loop: saturation, alignment, and capture. It always starts with the foundation, the environment. Then it moves to the tribe, the social dynamics.
And it ends with the kill switch, a cognitive shortcut that makes surrender feel not like you're losing, but like you're getting a reward.
All right, let's zoom in on that first layer, context. The person architecting the stack knows that influence begins way before a single word is even spoken about the real topic. By choosing the location, the seating arrangement, even the food and drinks, they're carefully building what we call a safety baseline in your brain. This is pure choice architecture. The goal is to make the environment so comfortable, so non-threatening, that your natural skepticism, your analytical mind, just kind of goes to sleep.
Now, once that environment feels safe, phase 2 kicks in. And here, the whole goal is to reframe what's happening. This is no longer a negotiation between two people with competing goals. Oh no. The architect reframes it as a tribe, all moving together towards some shared, noble destination. And suddenly, the very idea of disagreeing is positioned as a threat to the group, to the herd's safety. And this pushes you into a really powerful biological state called tribal entrainment. By casually mentioning others who agree, or by mirroring your body language, the influencer can trigger a release of oxytocin. That's the bonding hormone. And when that happens, your brain's entire calculation changes. Group consensus doesn't just feel nice, it feels like survival. And disagreeing doesn't just feel awkward, it feels neurologically dangerous. It feels like stepping away from the campfire into the cold, dark woods alone. And all of this is just setting the stage for the final move, the heuristic strike. See, after being saturated by the controlled room and the social pressure, your brain is tired. It is metabolically fried from trying to process all these layers. The architect knows this. And now, they apply one final piece of pressure, designed to make one thing absolutely clear. The only way to make all this pressure stop is to agree. And these are some of the classic tools they'll use in that final strike. A scarcity trigger creates that fear of missing out. A reciprocity trap makes you feel like you owe them. But honestly, the most powerful tool is the saturation anchor. At this point, the target's brain is just so overloaded, it will do anything to stop the noise. Agreement is no longer about the pros and cons of the deal, it's about that deep biological reward of relief. It's just about making it all go away.
So we've covered the what and the how, but the really critical question is why? Why is this system so incredibly effective, even on people who are brilliant and rational? Well, the answer isn't just in psychology. It's in the hardwiring of our biology.
And this is the question that really gets people. How can someone who lives and breathes data and logic fall for a system that's all about manipulating the room and the social vibe? It seems like it shouldn't work, but it does. And that's because the stack isn't targeting the part of the brain that analyzes data. It's targeting the part of the brain that manages energy. I mean, just look at the choice from your brain's raw biological point of view. Path A is to fight. To do that, you have to mentally deconstruct 3 layers of influence all at the same time. That is metabolically expensive. It burns a ton of mental energy. Your brain sees that path as painful and inefficient. Path B is to just agree. That path is smooth, it's frictionless, and it comes with an immediate reward of relief and belonging. It has a super low metabolic tax. So when your brain is already tired, which path do you think it's going to choose? This whole system is really just exploiting a sneaky little glitch in our mental software. It's called the heuristic of fluency. You see, our brains are fundamentally lazy. They've evolved to save energy wherever they can. And because of that, we've got this dangerous little shortcut. If something is easy to think about, if it feels fluent and smooth, our brain just kind of assumes it must be true. Easy feels like true. And that's the whole game of influence stacking. It's the art of making their desired outcome feel like the easiest, most frictionless, and therefore the truest path you can take. And this really gets to the core of the biological trap. The system works because it pits an immediate, very powerful reward, that feeling of safety and belonging, against something abstract and far away, like your own long-term self-interest. In that moment of decision, when your energy is low, our biology is just wired to grab the immediate reward. The long-term cost feels fuzzy and unreal. The short-term relief feels like salvation. Okay, so knowing the biology is one thing, but recognizing this trap while you're in it, that's a whole other ballgame. So let's talk about the diagnostic tools you can use to spot when you're inside a stacked environment before it's too late. This is all about switching from being a participant to being an observer. Here is the single most important mental shift you can make. Stop focusing on the thing they're presenting to you. The deal, the proposal, that's the distraction. That's the shiny object.
Instead, you have to turn your analytical mind onto the process itself. You have to start auditing the layers. Ask yourself, who chose this restaurant? Why is everyone suddenly agreeing? Is this deadline real or is it just pressure?
And this chart shows you the key red flag, the momentum utility disconnection. In a healthy decision, the speed and the value kind of move together, but in a stacked environment, they break apart violently. You'll feel this huge pressure to decide fast, this incredible sense of momentum pushing you forward. But at the same time, your quiet, analytical gut feeling about the actual value of the outcome is plummeting. When you feel that gap, you're in a trap. This all leads to this tragic little irony we call the passenger's paradox. It turns out the people who seem the most excited, the most on board with the plan, they're often the ones who are the most deeply captured by the stack. Their feeling of alignment is so intense, it completely blinds them to the fact that someone else chose the destination. They mistake that powerful feeling of momentum for their own agency. They think they're choosing when really they're just consenting. And so that's the question you have to ask yourself next time you feel that powerful pull of alignment, that rush of momentum. Is this momentum coming from your own deep belief in where you're going? Or are you just a passenger, enjoying the smooth ride while someone else is piloting your career or your project or your life? Answering that question honestly is the first real step to taking back the controls. So let's wrap this up by changing our goal. The point here isn't to get better at fighting back. That just burns more of your precious energy. No, the goal is to develop a whole new way of seeing, a way that lets you see the architecture of the room before it even starts to tilt. We really need to update our definition of what power is. For a long, long time, we've thought power belongs to the most charismatic person, the best debater. But that's a pretty limited and frankly a vulnerable kind of power. It depends on you constantly winning a battle of wills. This is the new model. Real power, real agency is about structural integrity. It's the ability to keep your own balance, your own frame of mind, your own goals, no matter what kind of environmental or social pressure is being thrown at you. It's about being sovereign and standing still until you, and only you, decide it's time to move. And you know, the best defense isn't some clever counter tactic. You don't fight a stack with another stack. The entire system of influence stacking depends on being invisible. It works in the dark, on your subconscious. The second you shine the bright light of conscious awareness on it, the second you start auditing the layers, the whole system's power just evaporates. So we'll end with this, a simple diagnostic weapon. The next time you feel that invisible pull, that neurological gravity trying to force your hand, don't argue about the deal. Don't follow the tilt, just detach and start auditing the layers. That awareness is the beginning and the end of taking back your agency.